Hello and welcome back to your daily basketball recap. My name is Levi Jacob. Today, it's just me. I'm solo. We're going to do a couple quick hits before the games tonight. Number one is reporting from Dave McMiniman that the Lakers are now apparently open to welcoming LeBron James back for his 20th season. We think that that's the right move and that should happen and they should welcome him back. Should he go back? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I don't like his fit on this team necessarily. I don't like how most of the pieces fit with this team. They really need to figure something out over the offseason. I'm excited to see the playoffs, but I don't think it's going to be, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a good outcome for them and what they're hoping. A couple interesting things here. The Sacramento Kings announced that Domantas Sabonis is out for the rest of the season, as well as Zach LaVine. So, that's kind of as far as the Kings season goes. Unfortunately for them, they also announced that Dylan Cardwell is going to be out for about 4 weeks, which is going to be, it's a lot of time for them. They have now Maxime Reneau as their starting center, and he will be for at the very least the next 4 weeks. He was always the starting center over Cardwell, but they announced that they signed Cardwell to this, larger deal, which is pretty exciting for them. That being said, it is very likely that we have seen Domantas Sabonis in a Kings jersey for the last time. I'm sad to be saying that, honestly. I think that he brought some pretty excellent and pretty fun times to this Kings team. And I think that there should be nothing but good blood between the Kings and Domantas Sabonis. Maybe less so on his side, because all of the additions and trades over the years have kind of made it a weird dynamic for him. But a fruitful relationship from the standpoint of the Kings were entirely irrelevant before him. Aside from that season with De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley when they were being compared to Westbrook and Durant. Anybody remember that when Luke Walton was their coach, I think? Or was it the year before Luke Walton was their coach? Either way, very, very surprising, but really quite the experience. And yeah, I'm really interested to see what the Kings do next because it's like really a big mix of things and they have a lot of young guys. So it really could be that they really try to go all in with a rebuild here. Okay, moving on. Mo Wagner, unfortunately, is out indefinitely with an ankle injury. He just recently came back and they found that it's actually, the swelling is still there and all that jazz. So he will be remaining out, as I said, indefinitely. I hate to hear it. I wish him the best. Hopefully a good recovery for this Magic team that I hope that they can find some success in the second half of this season because they really need it. Mike Conley is back on the Wolves officially now. Porzingis is supposed to be making his debut tonight for the Warriors. That's pretty exciting. Ja Morant is out another 2 weeks. Dejounte Murray is supposed to make his season debut within the next couple weeks, according to Coach James Borrego, who's the coach for the Pelicans, so that's also pretty cool. Another interesting one, Cam Payne is supposed to sign with the Sixers for the rest of the season. I don't know what that's going to look like for them. They have a lot of guards. I don't really think that he's needed, per se, but he's going to be there on that Sixers team, which is maybe their first misstep of this season so far. Okay, now getting more into, news headlines from the past few days we didn't discuss, but there was a clip going around of Anthony Edwards talking to Jalen Johnson and saying, I can't wait to come home to Atlanta, presumably where Jalen Johnson plays, where Anthony Edwards is from. Not a great look for Anthony Edwards. Would that be cool to see him come back and revive this Hawks organization and play in his hometown? Yeah, that'd be dope. Not for Minnesota, obviously not for Minnesota. Maybe they can get a good return on him eventually, but also he's 4 years signed to this Timberwolves team, so I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon, to be fair. Maybe he's just talking about over the summer break or something, who knows, but yeah, not a great headline to have running around. There's a lot of reporting post the tanking discussions that everybody's been talking about that no one wants to hear about anymore. That gambling companies are the ones behind. First, everyone thought it was the Thunder that was behind Adam Silver fining the Jazz. And then Ben Golliver reported that it was actually a lot of big gambling companies were the ones complaining about this because they, offered certain players in betting lines. For example, Yusuf Nurkic. I had him on my fantasy team at the time, and he was healthy and then got a DNP as a player that at the time was offering night to night. Like there was a week where he was like averaging a triple-double. It was nuts. Best he's been playing in his career. And then he just wouldn't play a game. And it was very strange. So I totally understand it. And I don't think that people should be upset about it. Shouldn't just been, gambling companies. I think it's a weird method. I'm not going to go into the whole tanking thing, mostly because I think that to me, the answer is obvious. don't abolish there's too many things already in place for you to totally change the system right now. The answer to me is obvious as far as just make the 12th seed, 11th seed, or whatever, have the highest odds of the number one pick. So that way you still have to win some games and don't win others, and you don't want the risk of allowing the teams that are, a little bit farther back to have the odds to get the higher picks. It's very obvious to me. And, create whatever incentives around that, all that stuff. But I'm saying like there has to be some level of effort and skill put forward at some points throughout the season, and your team can now be bad enough that you still get a higher pick. And that's I don't know, is very obvious to me. But alas, it's been a story for the majority of the time of the All-Star game break. So whatever, who cares at this point? That being said, moving on. Sean Powell from NBA.com released 10 storylines to follow during stretch run of regular season. So this, the later half of the season, 10 storylines to pay attention to. Number 1, Jason Tatum's decision. Very, very interesting story here for the whole league, realistically speaking. Not just the Eastern Conference, but, it could affect other things. If he's going to play. If he's going to end up playing this season, by all means, by all reporting, he looks healthy. He looks like he's able to. Mentally, they say he's, still trying to gauge that. When you can do it physically, mentally, it's one piece of it, but Jason Tatum so much fashions himself after Kobe that I think that I don't think that he's deliberating as much as they're making it out to be that he's deliberating. Number 2 is OKC at full strength. I don't have the exact number before me here, but there's something like the starting 5 for the OKC Thunder have only played 43 minutes collectively together this season. That's a crazy, crazy stat. Yeah, I really think that the main factor for this team has been health, and that's been standing in their way. So I still are the favorites in the West. There's a new favorite in the East, but it's not a new favorite for me because I called it at the end of last season. I think the Pistons are the best team in the East, and it's right now not really close in my eyes. Is there a way that I could see them losing? Yeah, for sure. But I still think that they're, in most series, I expect them to be able to go to 7 tooth and nail with any team in the Eastern Conference. Denver, looking for dominance, is the third point here. That's absolutely true. They're going to be looking to establish themselves in the second half of the season, especially with health also playing a role here. Despite Peyton Watson being out, Cam Johnson is back in, Jokic is in. He's not looked as healthy, but that will also take time, and he'll get healthier. And they just have so much depth that I'm not worried. I'm really not worried about this Nuggets team. Number 4 is the Cleveland connection. Absolutely. This team, in my mind, has actually made themselves a potential contender coming out of the East. Compared to any other Eastern Conference team, they now have the depth and just the correct people at the correct positions, especially Evan Mobley coming back tonight, hopefully. I think this team is going to be, they're going to look awesome by the time the playoffs come around. And number 5 is the Hornets hum. That's a nice little headline there. Absolutely. I don't think they're a serious contender in any method, any metric, sorry. But my God, are they playing awesome basketball right now. And it's so much fun to watch. And they've become kind of what the Hawks were trying to do, which is they have defensive pieces for sure, but their offense is blowing you out of the water. And it's happened for the last, 10 games? They've been able to do this pretty successfully with a 9-1 record right now in the last 10. The Bucks try to bounce back. I do think that this is going to happen. I spoke about it the other day. Their depth chart got significantly younger over the past few days. They made a lot of really good trades and pickups, more so pickups, between Cam Thomas and Ousmane Dieng. They're both players with a lot of potential who are young. Finding Ryan Rollins in the beginning of the season was incredible. And having Kevin Porter Jr. there. They're young and they can run with Giannis. I think he's going to have a lot of fun with that, especially with Ousmane Dieng, who can hit threes. It's going to be, I think he's going to like playing with him a lot. I think he's really good. I think he's really good. Number 7 is the MVP race. Keep an eye on the MVP race, and I agree with you. I agree with Shea and Jokic are at the front right now. It could get really, really frisky by the end of the season because Shea has now missed some games here in a row, and people are, they don't pull their punches with Shea. They have a lot of holdups when it comes to him, unfortunately. And I think that I personally think that he's the best player in the league. I don't think it's close, but there's a lot of people who could position themselves really well based off of their team's success and how they perform in their efficiency, things like that. Like, I think Donovan Mitchell could definitely make a push for an MVP. I don't think he's going to get it, obviously, but I think he can have much more efficient scoring in the second half of the season. I think, and the team could rise up the standings for sure. Cade, I think, is another player with his usage. I think he definitely could be up there. There's so many. Jaylen Brown could just kind of do more of what he's already doing and showcase his skill. And it's always going to be an argument for a perceived overachieving team with some guy at the helm. Definitely. There's really actually a lot of players this season that really could be, including Wemby, by the way, who people aren't underrating him at all. There could be a lot of really, really cool contenders for this MVP race. So I'm looking forward. The Rookie of the Year race is their 8th point, which is absolutely true as well. And there's a lot of people who can make late pushes. Cooper Flag is going to have more opportunity now with Kyrie is not coming back and Anthony Davis is not coming back. He's just going to have the ball in his hands unanimously. There's nobody taking the ball out of his hands. So he could make an all-NBA team, I think. I have to look more into that. I might have a stupid call, but I really think actually at the end of the year, if his 3-point percentage comes up, it's possible. Maybe not. Probably not. Yeah, it probably was a stupid comment. I have to look at the stats more, realistically speaking. But Con Knipple has been incredible. He's really been incredible. VJ Edgecombe is also incredible. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Figure out what happens at the end of this rookie. Key games in the final 2 weeks of the season is point number 9. Pistons at Thunder on March 30th is going to be a lot of fun. I always, by the way, this is a piece that I think a lot of people forgot about. Remember when Cade was number 1 in the draft, the Thunder were tanking? Not tanking, yeah, tanking, kind of. But they already had SGA, and they didn't get number 1 pick, and a lot of like speculation around like maybe they'll trade SGA to get Cade. Always cool because he's also an Oklahoma guy, but very cool. Spurs and Cavs at Warriors April 1st and 2nd. That is going to be very interesting. I didn't see that matchup on the schedule yet, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Rockets at Suns on April 7th and Celtics at Knicks on April 9th. Those are all in the last 2 weeks. It's going to be fun. Those are all teams that are probably going to end up playing for positioning, especially the Rockets-Suns game. And the last one is LeBron and the Lakers, which I mentioned, I think first point off in this podcast. Yeah, going to be very, very interesting to see what ends up happening. Is he going back to Cleveland? Is he staying with the Lakers? Is he going to add to the team of ailing stars in the 76ers? Who knows? No one knows, except for maybe, I don't even think LeBron knows, to be honest with you. Going to be super, super interesting. The last thing I wanted to leave off with, Evan, I think it's Sidery, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, had the best 2-man lineups in the NBA for this season have been SGA and AJ Mitchell at a plus 21 net rating, SGA and Chet Holmgren at a 17 net rating, plus 17, LaMelo Ball and Moussa Diabate at also 17.6, so just a little bit below that. 17.4 is Brandon Miller and Moussa Diabate, and Victor Wembanyama and Devin Vassell at a 17.4. Moussa Diabate is in 2 of those 2-man lineups. I want to put that out there. He's very underrated. People should really pay more attention to Moussa Diabate. Then his secondary post was best 3-man lineups. LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Moussa Diabate at a plus 23.9. Con Knipple isn't even part of that equation there. That's crazy. SGA, Chet, and Kaysen, 21.8. And the last one is, and I don't think it'll shock anybody if you're watching the Celtics this year, Derek White, Neemias Queta, and Sam Hauser have a plus 20.8 net rating. Really awesome stuff. Really awesome stuff. I love going more in depth like this because you end up with numbers like the fact that the third best 3-man lineup is Derek White, Neemias Queta, and Sam Hauser in terms of analytics. Awesome. I love stuff like that. Lastly, we're going to run through the games because I'm really excited about them. I'm really excited about the upcoming games tonight. It's been a while since we've gotten to watch real basketball, because of the All-Star game. And I'm just going to pick them, and we'll see how well I do. Rockets versus Hornets. Hornets, I think, are likely to win this game just because of the synergy they've been playing with us recently. And the Rockets, ever since those Kevin Durant text messages were found out, apparently, they've been suffering a little bit. Nets versus Cavs, I'm taking Cavs as a heavy favorite. I think that's the most commonly understood thing. Hawks versus Sixers. I think that the Hawks are going to come away with this. I think they're going to try to make a push for the second half of the season. Pacers versus Wizards, likely Pacers because Wizards have a lot of injuries. Pistons versus Knicks is going to be awesome. Going to be a really fun game to recap. And I think they don't have a center in this game. They have Paul Reed as their center. I think the Knicks are going to win this game. If the Knicks don't, they should feel ashamed of themselves. Raptors versus Bulls. I think that the Raptors are going. I think the Bulls are going to win this game. I think it's just one of those games that I feel like the Bulls are going to win. The Suns versus Spurs. I think that the Spurs likely are to win this game. Celtics versus Warriors. Steph is not playing tonight. I think the Celtics take this game. I think they have to if they get up, by the way, against bad teams. The Celtics play the same way against everybody. I love it. I love that level of competition. I think Celtics win this game because I just think that the Warriors are like, that's actually really surprising. I didn't realize the Warriors are 29-26 compared to like the talent they have on their team right now, and what they also, especially over the last stretch of games, they kept winning games. But impressive, very impressive. Magic versus the Kings. The Magic should win this game, realistically speaking. I hope for their sake that they do. And the Nuggets versus the Clippers. The Clippers should lose this game most certainly because the Nuggets should be able to throw everything and the kitchen sink at them. They have so much depth, and the Clippers are really, really so depleted. They should be able to win this game very handedly. All right, that was your daily basketball recap in maybe a little bit over 15 minutes today. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to wish you a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.